anti shark cage. You go inside the cage. Cage goes in the water. You go in the water. Shark's in the water. Our shark. Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
Hello and welcome to Still Watching the Skies for our summer 2025 special. I'm Robert Reinecke.
I'm Nat Morel.
I'm Cody Lang.
Every month we explore the lesser discussed science fiction movies of the past. Some famous, some obscure, some good, some bad, all which we believe will create interesting conversations. However, for our bonus episodes, all rules are off. 50 years ago, June 20th, 1975 to be precise, Jaws swam into 409 theaters across the USA and walked away with an unheard of $7 million in one weekend.
How does a shark walk, Robert?
Obviously, we're talking about land shark there.
Mm.
Anyhow, the next weekend, the box office dropped a ridiculous 3.6%. And like its titular shark, it just kept killing at the box office weekend after weekend until the summer blockbuster was born and a new paradigm took over Hollywood. A paradigm which would only be firmly cemented 2 years later with Star Wars and two nerdy kids named Spielberg and Lucas who grew up on television, comic books, and pulp novels being suddenly kings of Hollywood. In many ways, we're still grappling with what they wrought, or perhaps what many of their imitators and the moneymen who enabled them wrought. But that's perhaps too much to grapple with. We're going to discuss the 4 official Jaws movies in this episode and perhaps to trace the life cycle of the modern blockbuster. But you know what? We're going to start from the end and work our way to the beginning, just so you have to earn your way to hear what we have to say about the one masterpiece that we have to discuss in this.
All rules are off, motherfucker.
So we're going to go all the way to the end in 1987 with Jaws: The Revenge, which is, I'm kind of surprised we made it here, but be it as it may, we're here. Jaws: The Revenge. By 1987, Jaws sequels were already becoming a joke, although Back to the Future 2 was still a few years in the future. But that didn't stop Universal from trying with Jaws: The Revenge to milk just one last dollar out of it. This time his personal was the tagline, and Joseph Sargent, whose only tenuous connection to Jaws was that he directed Robert Shaw in The Taking of Pelham 123, took over the director reins. In this one, which completely ignores Jaws 3, after Sean Brody is killed by a shark at Christmas, Ellen Brody is convinced that the shark is out for personal revenge. Following Michael Brody's urging, Ellen travels to the Bahamas where Michael is working as a marine researcher and is romanced by a local pilot. Only the shark has followed Ellen to the Bahamas. Jaws: The Revenge is directed by Joseph Sargent. It's written by Michael de Guzman. Edited by Michael Brown. Cinematography by John McPherson. Music by Michael Small. I have no idea who any of those people are. And that should tell you a little bit something about the movie.
Michael Small did do the scores for Clute, Parallax View, and Marathon Man.
Well, then I must apologize because those are 3 damn good movies.
Yeah.
Or 2 damn good movies of Marathon Man, which is still interesting. The cast includes Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Lance Guest as Michael Brody, Mario Van Peebles as Jake, Michael Caine as Hoagie the pilot, Karen Young as Carla Brody, and let's see, Melvin Van Peebles as Mayor Jason Witherspoon, Fritzy Jane Courtney as Mrs. Taft, and Edna Bilato as Polly, the
Let's
receptionist at the Amity Island police station.
let's also not forget Lee Fierro as Mrs. Kintner returning.
Is she in that one?
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, she is. I see her in the cast list. What is she doing in this cast list?
What is anyone doing in this cast list?
I suppose I should mention Mitchell Anderson is Sean Brody for his very brief appearance. And Roy Scheider does show up in some flashbacks. Though, obviously, these are archival footage, and he does not appear in actuality in the film. He steered well clear of it. Jaws: The Revenge made something like 51 million versus like a $23 million budget, so maybe it broke even. But certainly that was the end of the line for the Jaws franchise. So, with that out of the way, why don't you take it away, Nat? I think you would discuss it.
Well, yeah. So this was my first time seeing Jaws: The Revenge, but I felt like growing up, this was one of the ones where you hear enough about either the production or the legacy or aftermath of it. I'm sure we'll get into the story about Michael Caine and his reasons for taking it. I
Uh,
think,
Perfectly valid reasons.
yeah. And I also think that maybe one of the most famous things about this is the tagline. Um,
Yeah, this time it's personal.
this time it's personal, which that is pretty perfect for this movie and what this movie is trying to achieve and be. Um, but it's also, amid the late 80s, early 90s, where you have the Rambo sequels, the Rocky sequels, and then you have Schwarzenegger, I guess, didn't have too many sequels that were maligned that I can think of. Like he had Terminator 2, but that was pretty well acclaimed. But it was a joke during this time for having a lot of sequels, and I feel like this is sort of the apex of those jokes about sequels, and I think it's earned that reputation. And like Jaws 3 and to an extent Jaws 2, I watched this probably about a week ago. And every time I've watched the preceding Jaws films, with the exception of the original Jaws, I've forgotten pretty much everything that happens in the movie, except how the shark dies. And in this case, I have forgotten how the shark dies. So I
Well,
would,
how
s-
the shark diet doesn't make any sense.
yes, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of things about this don't really make that much sense. Obviously, the shark traveling all the way from New York to the Bahamas is is pretty sketchy. The fact that Mario Van Peebles somehow lives, despite being mauled by the shark, is insane. And
You can't kill the black guy.
that's the thing too. It's like this is the 80s. If you have any license to kill a black guy, it's in the 80s, and especially in a movie like this. But for for a time though, like I think Robert may have a hot take on this. I don't want to steal his thunder in that, but I was thinking for the first part of this that uh I was enjoying it more than Jaws 3. This is also coming in with like low expectations that have built up for like 40 years or so. But I feel like the reputation of this film is fairly justified. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. I don't I don't feel like I've accomplished that much in my life by watching it. But that said, like it's not completely unwatchable. It's not utterly boring, but there are times where it is obnoxious in flagrant callbacks, like the flashback to Roy Scheider in particular, with what is it? Not Sean, but what the fuck's the other kid's name?
Michael.
Michael. With like him and his kid like mimicking him. It's just feels like really cheap, and they do a flashback to that, and then
Yeah.
the cherry on top of that is Lorraine Gary likes talking about how he used to mimic Roy Scheider, and then adding an additional element to it and saying that that was a game that they used to play. It's like this is this is just taking like a really nice moment in the first film and trying to apply that level of emotion, or some level of emotion to this film, where it's really more of a throwaway scene, but it works in the first film and it's a nice little detail. But here it's kind of like this big emotional payoff that doesn't really come. And I will say though that I think Lorraine Gary does a pretty decent job with what she has. She doesn't look too bad, but and I like her relationship with Hoagie. I also really like that Michael Caine's character is named Hoagie. But otherwise, I'm kind of at a loss in terms of what if there is a larger point to this movie. And there are some other elements in this that if you trace the trajectory of like how this movie is sort of structured or how the shark is treated, that maybe we can get into. But those at least are my initial thoughts. So how about you, Cody?
Hey guys. I haven't seen it before either. Didn't even know there was a Jaws 4. Overall, I will say this is like my least favorite of the four. I just think it's the least entertaining. Um, and I'm just gonna relate, like, I'm gonna compare the sequels to each other, and then I'm gonna see the first film as maybe different, or maybe its own thing. But this one, I felt like there wasn't enough, like, set pieces compared to the other sequels. I think that the idea of like the shark, chasing the family and being obsessed with the family, or like some idea about that, like I don't think it's the actual same shark from the first film, obviously, or the second film, or um, but I think that's not a great idea. Now, having said that, I don't know what else you would do with a fourth film. You could just maybe do
Not make one?
we could not make one, or just do what the third film did, which is just find like a somewhat interesting location. Um, which we'll talk about that more when we get to the third one. But yeah, I think this one just has a weird tone compared to the other ones. It's sort of, for whatever reason, is trying to make like a mythology around this family, and I do think Roy Scheider's character is good in the first movie. And the second movie, it's not bad, but I don't think like there's enough there to do something with this, like in the same way that like you would with like the Friday the 13th movies with Jason and his history. And so yeah, but I didn't mind the film. I didn't think it was like, I was okay watching it. I would never watch it again probably though. And I really liked Michael Caine in the movie. I thought he was fun. And but yeah, like I guess like I'll talk about this as we talk more about the films. I just don't see like, in terms of like a franchise, like to me this one seems like a hard franchise to keep afloat. And I sorry for the pun, the water pun there.
I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah, but like it's just like I just don't see it like how like you could keep, pumping more of these out, unless you just completely divorced from this family and just made kind of just, new situations with a shark. But then, how is it a Jaws film anymore if it's not the family from the original? So it's an interesting sort of franchise, because the franchise is based around shark attacks, but it's really based around one character, like the main character, I guess you could say, from the first film, and
Hmm.
his family, but he's not in the other films. So it's just a strange,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a strange, weird franchise that I don't think there's a lot of similar ones like that, where what made the first one good is really not like what you would do with a franchise, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so so yeah, overall, I would say this is like my least favorite of the four, and definitely of the three. But it's not unwatchable. I've seen, like I said to you guys before we started recording, I've seen way worse movies than this, and probably will see way worse movies in the future. So yeah, Robert, I'm assuming you've seen it before.
You
Maybe
would
not.
assume incorrectly. This is my first time seeing it too.
Okay.
I've been aware of its reputation since it came out. I'm pretty sure I watched Siskel and Ebert when they reviewed it, and I said, yeah, not for me. But I noped out after three anyhow, so I was not coming back for that. Lorraine Gary didn't mean enough for me to go see a Jaws movie. I mean, Roy Scheider, maybe if Roy Scheider had been in it, sure, I probably would have seen it. But uh, anyway, with as far as Jaws Revenge, my hot take was I think it's better than three, but that's a real low bar to begin with, as far as I'm concerned. And we'll get into that when we get to three. But this is kind of an actual movie, but just a dopey movie, which doesn't even make any sense because it's like a shark can't uh well, a shark sees everybody as prey or not as an individual, so it's not doesn't even make any sense that the shark would what revenge for what killing your cousin or something.
Well, and didn't it already get revenge by killing Sean? Like,
You would think so.
doesn't,
Maybe it's based on weight.
well, maybe.
Maybe.
I am curious though, like what in your mind, Robert, because you kind of, I mean, we all, I assume, Cody, you grew up with Jaws, and I grew up with Jaws as well, and
I
uh
actually did not grow up with Jaws. Like Jaws 2 was the first one I saw in the theater. I didn't see Jaws. I was too young for Jaws.
okay,
So
but I mean, like it
yeah.
was still around, and like I'm sure you probably had it on
I did catch
video.
up. I did catch up with it when it hit cable in the 80s, yes.
Yeah, but like
But I'd seen Jaws 2 before I saw Jaws.
yeah, I mean, what would you say makes a Jaws movie? And
Well, I
is there
think
something that distinguishes like a Jaws movie or any of these movies outside of perhaps the original Jaws, just in terms of quality? But
well, we got the quality, but I think Amity is the other distinguishing factor. And at least the Revenge has at least a little portion in Amity. And it feels like that it's about actual people when at least when it's in Amity, and maybe even a little bit when it gets to Bahamas. It doesn't feel like it's about supermodels and superheroes and super spies and such. It just feels like these are normal people dealing with a shark.
I I like that, but I also feel that for this movie at least, most of the family stuff is the stuff I like
It's
the least.
ludicrous.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I don't like that. I feel they spend way too much time on like Michael and his wife. And like I said, I do like some of the Lorraine Gary stuff, but also it just goes on for way too long in this movie. And for something that seems to be such a cash grab of a movie, I I do echo Cody's point about there being a lack of set pieces. Like
Yeah, there's
there's
definitely a lack
not
of set pieces. There's a lack
there's
of body count too. There's what, two?
yeah, there's not much shark killing in this.
I mean, the shark shows up and goes boo a couple times, and that's about it.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I feel that, Lorraine Gary's husband was the president of the studio, and I feel that was a nice vacation for her and her family in the Bahamas.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
didn't know that backstory or that context. That's interesting. Okay.
yeah. But I mean, she's also in so much of this movie too.
Yes.
So it couldn't have been that good of a vacation.
Well, maybe
This film though looks like it was like shot in 2 weeks. Like,
does. I know
yeah, like they're
Michael
using the
Caine was
same
on there for like two
locations.
weeks, and yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I think that's the most interesting part about this franchise is that it's something where like the formula from the first film, it can't be duplicated because it's not a formulaic movie like the first one is, right?
No,
Um,
I agree. I mean,
and so normally in franchises like let's say horror ones or whatever, I'm not sure if this would count as that, but like
might as well. That probably is the closest it is a
sure,
horror
yeah.
franchise. Only the different killer in every movie.
Yeah, horror action, whatever. But like, well, maybe more horror thriller. I'm not even sure if thriller is a genre,
Yeah,
but like, what makes the first one good is like you can't keep doing it, right? And even the second one, I don't
it's just
think.
the quality, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but even the second one, like this, like there are a lot of franchises where Terminator is a good example. Like
Hmm.
also where I don't think there's a lot of stories to tell. And
No,
they just kind of keep it going, right? And
yeah, even the second one is kind of like the first one, only bigger.
yeah, and the second one's really good, obviously, but
Yeah.
and the like this is even more of an example of that, where there is literally no other story to tell. It would work fine as not being a franchise. That's why I don't even
Yeah.
think of the first film as being the same series, like in the
Yeah.
same franchise, because the first film is really not about like yeah, it's about a shark, but it's about a community.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and that's
It's
and like the way that he films that is what makes it good. Like the shark stuff is just whatever. It's like a narrative thing to make all these cool scenes, right? Whereas the future
mhm.
ones, it's like, well, how are we going to do this? Well, it's got to be about Roy Scheider's character
We got to
because it,
personalize the shark.
yeah,
Hmm.
because the other thing would be, okay, who's the other character? Richard Dreyfuss. He's like a marine biologist guy. Maybe we follow him to another town where he's going to help some guy hunt a shark.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the franchise. But is Richard Dreyfuss as interesting to watch as Roy Scheider? I don't know. Maybe. Uh, that actually would make more sense because then you could have all these different locations, and now it just becomes about like a Crocodile Dundee type of guy who's
Matt
going
Hooper, Shark
around.
Hunter.
Well,
Yeah,
I would be perfectly happy if like Jaws 2 instead just followed like the adventures of Robert Shaw prior to getting eaten by Jaws in the
Yeah.
first movie.
I guess apparently Spielberg's first idea for a sequel was to do something about the USS Indianapolis.
I it, it doesn't even need to be that complicated. Like if it just followed Quint like up to 5 minutes before he enters, City Hall and scrapes his fingernails on the chalkboard, I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
There's no
or maybe
character
yeah,
with
maybe just make how he makes his living as a shark hunter or how he becomes a shark hunter. There's your sequel.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm totally
sure.
fine
That
with
would
that.
be yeah, like that would be a lot better. Yeah.
I'm down for Matt Hooper. I'm down for watching Mayor Vaughn like try to run for re-election and how he
And
got
win.
reelected in Jaws 2. Like all of these things, like with those characters from the first movie, I'm willing to watch a sequel with them. I cannot say the same for like any other character, maybe with the exception of Lou Gossett Jr., who is very underused, I think, in Jaws 3. But
Yeah.
there's none of those stories that I really want to see from any of the other characters in the sequels.
Yeah, and so like back to this one, like why I think it's probably the worst is, and the main reason is because it's so focused on the family and the characters and the
Hmm.
memory of the main of Roy Scheider's character that I just think they're not like whoever's making this is not understanding like what makes the first movie good.
No, and
Um,
it's kind of like a legacy sequel without having much of legacy in it.
Hmm.
Or at least
yeah,
part of the legacy that we care about.
and yeah, and they're and
Yeah,
they're and they're trying to force, us into really caring about this family.
yeah,
Which beyond the first film, like I think the family's really like done well in the first film, and even the second one, it's okay. But like the family's not that interesting. There's not much else you can do with it, and I just think that it's it's so focused on that part, it's kind of goofy. And then because they focus on that, it's not enough about like I guess like the shark hunting or like the different ways that the shark is gonna terrorize
Yeah. And
terrorize the community. Because even in this one, the main part of the plot, like the main conflict, is that the guy is hiding that there's a shark,
Yeah.
and
yeah, why?
that's like that's kind of well, like I know why he's doing it, but like that's not a good story.
No.
Like you're basically hiding it so your mom doesn't freak out. Like that's the main conflict, right?
Hmm.
Like in like all three of the films,
Yeah, and
it was always about like some group is trying to make money in this area, and someone who's going to be responsible with danger is going to mess up that, right?
yeah, and
And in this one, there's nothing like that.
yeah, Roy Scheider is the responsible one in the first two films. He's saying there's a shark there.
Yeah.
This is like the opposite. Oh, I'm not going to tell people that there's a shark there.
Yeah, and like I think that's probably why they don't kill the friend at the end is because like this is actually not that kind of movie. It's like I don't know how he survives. Like what, did the shark
Yeah.
just not bite down
Yeah, it
and
makes no
was just
sense.
like carrying him in his mouth?
Well, even beyond that, the way they kill the shark makes no sense. He just explodes for no reason. Gonna get ran by a sailboat.
Actually, yeah, maybe let's talk about that. So, how did the shark die? So, did the sailboat like inside of its mouth there's like a beeping thing, right? It like lets off a frequency,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
but was that explosive
I
or
don't
no?
see how.
Right, okay, that's what I thought.
I think she's a scanner.
Yeah, exactly. So then she runs like the pointy thing in the boat into the head of the shark and then it kind of punctures it, right? That's how they kill it.
She's a psychic scanner. That's it.
I'm not trying to make a
Yeah.
joke. I don't know how it died.
That's it. That's the only explanation I can come up
Okay.
with. Because because of the reason, Cody.
Yeah. I was hoping that Michael Caine would do more stuff with the plane and the shark, like maybe try to like ram it or something or like fly his
Fly into his mouth to save Ellen.
I don't know,
That's
something. Like yeah, just more to
that
do with the
that.
plane. Like I was like, "Oh, he's just gonna land it and then it's gonna sink. That sucks."
Well, I think that was the original ending too.
I don't know how I'm supposed to believe. Besides the friend surviving after getting chopped down on. Michael Caine somehow outswims the shark and then swims under the boat and comes up on the other side.
Yep.
I don't believe that for a second.
No, like this is for a
Michael,
shark that's out for revenge and that apparently has the stamina to swim from New York to the Bahamas, like the shark sucks at eating people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I suppose the model of the shark is better than it was in the original.
I don't think it
I don't
is.
think it is. It looks worse in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Like it
I
looks
think that's
really
for the
fake.
filming though.
Well, yeah, but
But yeah, but yeah. I mean, I don't have any explanation for the ending. I mean, the shark roars even, so I mean, it's not like that makes
I
any sense either.
I don't have a problem with the roaring.
Okay. I mean,
That's
I'm not saying the movie makes any sense.
no.
I want to make this clear. What I'm saying is I think it's better than Jaws 3. It's because I think Jaws 3 is really abysmal.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think outside of the movie itself, there are just like more interesting things outside of the movie than in the movie. And like there's like we said, the Michael Caine story, the tagline. I also think too that like the first one kind of leans into this, although I think it does it in a way more elegant way. But having the shark be like a metaphor for Lorraine Gary's trauma of like dealing with her son and her husband's death. But I don't think it quite nails that.
It
And
doesn't
I
really understand it, but yes, I think
but
it's there.
yeah, and I think that like that's what I think a lot of shark movies now do. So
Hmm.
like The Shallows, I think, is one where she's like dealing with her father's death. And I think like they kind of get into like relationship aspects or friendship aspects with with like 47 meters down, and I was saying
Yeah.
earlier, like I saw Dangerous Animals, that kind of has a similar thing.
And
Um,
I kind of like that she discovers she's not dead yet, and she can have a relationship again.
mhm.
Just with the
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah,
That's something it has going for it.
That's
yeah,
probably the best part of the movie.
but it's also like it doesn't really land for me, and I feel kind
No.
of dirty by it. Like it feels in things like that, like in maybe more contemporary shark movies, like I guess I maybe unfairly give
Yeah.
it a little bit more of a pass because I mean there's also 50 years of shark movies that have come from that where like there's a pretty well established formula. You know what you want to show, you can show it in a cool way, and then you can kind of add a bit of a thematic layer to it by, inserting uh this backstory to the character who's fighting the shark, and you can also get away with having like a pretty sparse cast. And here, like I don't think that's really as nailed down, but they are kind of striving for it. But it also is like I don't
Mm,
think that this can get out of the idea of it as a cash grab sequel.
no. I agree. And I feel like they said, well, Ellen has to kill the shark because it's her movie.
Yeah.
And it's like that makes no sense whatsoever. Because she's just a
No, but I'm
housewife.
glad she does it. It's
Yeah,
better
I
than
mean
the son doing it.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
better. It is better. I mean, I like Lance Guest enough in The Last Starfighter, but he does nothing for me here.
I,
Um,
I
I
thought he
do
was
want,
okay, but I prefer Dennis Quaid.
yeah. Well, Dennis Quaid is a better actor. I do have to ask, how old do you think Ellen Brody is in the
she
film?
seems so much older in this movie than
I
in
don't know. She looks
the
like she's
original.
50.
She was 50.
Oh,
She was
okay, there
born in
you go.
1937, so she's 50. But sometimes she acts like she's like 65, and sometimes
Yeah.
she's
Yeah, you're
50.
right. Yeah.
It's a weird, and I don't know. I think that's a writing thing, but I mean, she's what in Jaws, like mid 30s, you would
Yeah,
think
I
in the
Yeah.
I
character.
sort of read them as like late 30s, early 40s, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Roy Scheider has always looked like in his 40s to me,
Yeah, but
but yeah.
they have young kids, and
Oh yeah.
she's definitely a younger housewife, I feel. I mean, she's not in her 20s, that's clear. She's an adult in the room, but she's not like pushing 50 in that one.
Mhm.
No, I thought it was like, yeah, like I would say like not maybe not middle age, but just approaching it.
Yeah, I feel like she's in the mid 30s, and it's like, boy, she had a hard 13 years apparently, or
Yeah,
12
well,
years.
I mean, you got a husband dying and a kid dying, and then you get wooed by Michael Caine.
Yeah, I mean it's not her looks, but I mean I don't know. Like she's not supposed to find other men attractive. She's
I don't
not
know.
dead.
No, that's true. She's got a lot more years. Yeah. Hmm.
And is it just me, or did they move to some sort of different house on Amity? Because that didn't look at all like I remember the house.
Well, it is Christmas, so maybe it's decked out a
Maybe.
little bit differently, or we're seeing different angles or sides of the house.
Yeah, guys, we got
Yeah.
to move on because
Okay.
there's
We
three
we
more
do.
movies.
You know
We
what you
do.
do.
I do
So
want to ask though one thing. What the fuck was her plan in going out on the boat, like
I
without
don't
any
know.
weapons?
She's just gonna ram it.
Well,
Rabbit?
then
Was she
she was
committing
successful in
suicide?
that mission.
Hmm.
I don't know. Was she sacrificing herself for the family?
I
And
don't know.
See,
why would the
yeah,
shark care about Ellen Brody, who stayed on
yeah,
land the whole movie?
yeah. See, that's how I read it. I'm not joking. I thought she would. It was like, okay, I'm gonna go out and then it's gonna kill me and then it's gonna be over. But it doesn't make sense why the shark would even wanna eat her.
Well, and the shark already tried to kill Michael, like
Yeah, I
prior
know.
to her doing that. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's gonna satisfy him.
No, I know, but it's her movie. Uh, so it's like she
Well,
in
the
her
shark
mind.
doesn't know that, Cody.
I know. It doesn't work, but like that's what they're trying to do.
It's a very dopey movie. I think we can all agree on that.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
no, yeah, no. When we get to the next one, which I hope to
All
shortly,
right.
I'll explain why I think it's better.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to our Jaws 3, or
Jaws
Jaws
3D.
3D, as it was known if you saw it in the theater at the time,
Hmm.
known as under the tagline "The Third Dimension in Terror."
Is
Um,
terror.
Nice.
yeah, it's terror. Okay. Uh, Directing fell to Joe Alves, who did production design for Jaws, Jaws 2, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Escape from New York before his one and only directing credit for this film. In the Jaws 3D, grown-up Mike Brody has taken a job in SeaWorld in Florida as an underwater construction supervisor when a shark winds up in its inland saltwater lagoon. Havoc ensues from there. Uh, the film is directed by Joe Alves. The screenplay is by Richard Matheson and Carl Gottlieb, of all people. Story is by like Gordon Trueblood. Um,
Fake name.
let's see. Let's see. The cast includes Dennis Quaid as Michael Brody, Bess Armstrong as Catherine K. Morgan, Michael Brody's girlfriend. Simon McCorkindale is Philip Fitzroyce, who I'm not sure
I don't
what he
remember any
is.
of these characters in this movie.
Luis Gossett Jr. is Calvin Bouchard, the owner question mark of SeaWorld. Uh, John Putch is Sean Brody. Leah Thompson is Kellyanne Bukowski, a water ski performer for SeaWorld. And Jack Tate is, or P.H. Moriarty is Jack Tate, Simon McQuirkendale's assistant, question mark. So, and last but not least, gimmick or not, Jaws 3 ended up grossing 88 million versus an $18 million budget. So, hey, it made money.
Yeah, it did. Okay,
Yeah.
quick question. Leah Thompson's character, Kelly Ann Bukowski. Is that where they got the name Kelly Kapowski for Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up.
But it's hard to tell. Art.
I will say I shelled out for the 3D Blu-ray and watched it in 3D. So I actually saw Jaws 3D.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Ah,
Oh, good job.
Well, I don't know. I'll go first. I hate this damn movie.
Oh, man.
I think it's dumb. I think it's ugly. I think the shark attacks are boring. I don't think it's shot very well. I don't think the scenes are constructed very well. I don't think there's any character arcs. Um, I don't have much good to say about it other than, Leah Thompson in her underwear in 3D is a nice uh, effect on me on watching it on TV. But that's about all I have good to say about it. So I don't even think the shark attacks are any good. The 3D is fine. The 3D is kind of good as a gimmick, but that gimmick wore itself out for me long before it was over. And Dennis Quaid, I don't know what Dennis Quaid is doing in this film. He doesn't seem like the main character for much of the movie. That seems more like Bess Armstrong. And he doesn't really do a whole lot. Bess Armstrong seems to do not much more. And I don't even know what Louis Gossett Jr. is doing in this film other than collect a paycheck.
I wish they had more Lou Gossett Jr. in this movie, though.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he's fine, but I mean, he does his care. I don't even know if he's a good boss, a bad boss, or just a famous boss, or just the name in the script because he doesn't do a whole lot. Nobody
So,
does a
so
whole lot.
who you're referring to as the boss? Like the guy who the
Who
like the
owns,
black guy.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr.
like
Okay.
fresh off Officer and a Gentleman Oscar win.
Gotcha. I haven't
You
seen
you
that
would think
film.
he'd give him a big juicy role and he would eat that one up and at least make it entertaining. But he's barely in the film as it is.
He is entertaining when he's on, and
Yeah, he's good.
what I like about him is that he is a good reworking of Murray Hamilton's character from the original Jaws and Jaws 2. Like that person who kind of wants to push to keep things moving.
Hey, he's got to
And
keep the revenue coming in.
yeah, and I like that. Like I like I kind of like
I'm
that
surprised they
counterpoint.
actually used the word SeaWorld as
I
their
am too.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
does not make SeaWorld look good.
this, it does not.
Well, no one
Um,
thinks SeaWorld looks good
Well,
though
SeaWorld does
anymore.
not make SeaWorld looks good, but back in the 80s, people thought, oh, SeaWorld's nice.
oh yeah, like
I went to
there,
SeaWorld back in the 80s.
we'll swing by there on our way to Disney, and I think this was before Universal Studios, which actually had a Jaws ride. But
Hmm.
Hmm.
it does, this is also, I like the ideas in this, but
Yes.
I don't like any of them in this movie.
That's also true, yeah.
But like the idea of, hey, let's capture a shark, let's have it the main attraction,
Awesome idea.
is an awesome idea. I love, yeah,
We
and I
can
love
watch Revenge of the Creature for that.
yeah, well, and like just the flashiness of Lou Gossett Jr. But yeah, then it just kind of gets bogged down again with like, and this is where I think one of the big problems with some of these movies is some, like why do they have to keep tying it to the Brodies?
Yeah,
And I feel
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you could have no, you didn't need any of the Brodies in this one.
yeah, and just tying it down there, following like who cares? Who cares that it's Michael Brody? Like Michael, I don't even remember Michael from the first movie, much less like, you know.
I mean, he's played by Dennis Quaid. He doesn't even look like
But
Michael
that's the
from.
thing. You launch this movie and it's Dennis Quaid. It's not Michael Brody. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna follow Dennis Quaid around, wishing that we were following Lou Gossett Jr. and Leah Thompson's underwear around. And as much as I like Dennis Quaid and even Bess Armstrong to an extent, like I don't care about them. And this movie, Jaws 2, I feel like kind of has a little bit better idea of what it wants to be. I think this one is kind of like them, the producers more or less acknowledging that like, okay, we have to do a sequel to Jaws. We have to have kills. We'll get a guy who like wants to we who will explain why nobody's out to kill this damn shark. We'll put it in kind of a cool place. We'll get, we'll get a PG-13 or whatever PG rating by not showing any actual nudity. But it's like we're gonna hit all like the spectacle elements of Jaws, but then they tie themselves down in yeah, like trying to force like the Brody story on when there's so many other better elements that were at least in the original screenplay, I would assume, or at least like
Hmm.
in the treatment for the film.
Yeah.
And so
Would it even Hooper make a better fit for this scenario?
anyone would, and it's yeah,
Yeah, of
it
course you would. Yeah. See, I don't mind the Brody stuff because I don't think they get into it too much. Like, there's a little bit of the younger brother coming and
yeah,
him saying, I can't go in the water. I won't go in the water. Then he goes in when the hot chick gets him in there.
hmm
And then I think it's like, I personally don't mind that that's the Brody stuff. And it's only because, like, they don't try to go so much back to the first film like the fourth film does. But I don't think, but I agree that they could have done it without making those like the same characters.
hmm
Um, because actually in the first movie, like I don't really remember the kids, and the kids are really characters in the second film. Like that's where I
hmm
see
Hmm.
the kids really starting out as characters. And even the wife, I don't really remember her too much in the first film either. Like you get more of a feel for the family in the second film. Um, and yeah, so I don't think it works, but I don't really mind it as much as I mind how much they do it in the fourth one, I guess. Yeah. But also Dennis Quaid looks a lot older than the kid he's
Oh yeah.
portraying
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
second film.
like it's only like what, 6 years?
I think it's five. Yeah.
5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years. So
Yeah.
he Dennis Quaid should be what, I mean, Michael should be what, 22, 23 maybe?
Which I
hmm
guess that Dennis Quaid could be here, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
he seems like he's in charge of people and he's not like an entry level job. He seems like he's the boss.
hmm
Yeah. I do like any film though where it's about like tradespeople as the main character. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I just think they're cool. It's like cool to be
Hmm.
manly and fix stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, Bess Armstrong is some sort of like um, authority on marine biology.
Hmm.
So you think she'd be what, 30 or so?
Yeah.
yeah,
And
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I'll say why I think it's better than the fourth one. I think that, like Nat was saying, there's some good ideas in it. They're not executed very well. Um, but I do find the movie more entertaining and just more like what I expect, like a shark movie. Like I'm not even gonna say a Jaws movie because I don't think that Jaws should even be a franchise. I'll just say Shark as the bad guy movie. Like the idea of like trying to capture it to make money off it, that's funny. Then it's going haywire. Then there's people stuck in those tunnels, which I would be freaking out if that was me.
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, I thought that was a cool idea. And so there's like the added element of like killing the shark, but also saving the people down there too.
Hmm.
Um,
I
I
will
like that
say
it's all
that.
happening at a theme park. Like it's all happening at like
Hmm.
a theme
Hmm.
park. That's a cool setting, I think. There's a bit of stakes there, kind of like a bit of like Jurassic Park before there was Jurassic Park.
Hmm.
Um, and I like I don't know who he is in the movie. I forget. Like the British guy who's helping them hunt. I think he's like a total weirdo and kind of
Yeah.
sleazeball.
Yeah.
Um, and I like that like Dennis Quaid has like this weird bodybuilder friend who's works for him, who doesn't look like he would at all be like working in that type of field. Um, and there's just like there's just some funny parts to it, and I think it's more fun overall. Um, what's fun watching it not in 3D is you can really tell when they're trying to do a 3D moment because
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
like the film quality degrades. There's parts where it slows down and almost like freezes because they're trying to like get like
Especially
it's
when the
almost like
dolphins are doing tricks in the air.
Well, I
yeah,
think when
like they turn
Jaws
orange.
attacks
Yeah.
the command center.
Yeah.
Like that part, like that almost looks like an art film. It's so poorly shot.
When they
Like
have
the
the
shark
body parts
looks.
kind of rotating in 3D.
Yeah, see those I didn't even catch, but like the shark trying to go into the command center where he hits it, and then it explodes the glass. Like the way it's filmed is so like there's like no concept of like depth or anything that it looks like when Terry Gilliam would do his animated sequences in like Monty Python stuff. Like it looked 2D,
Hmm.
even though it's supposed to be 3D. Um, yeah, like I just think there's like weird curiosities about this movie. But I don't think it's good. Like I don't think this one's good. The fourth one's good. I think they both are, objectively bad, but I don't mind this one as much as the fourth one.
Well, I
That's just
think
my 2 cents. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying I like it more.
fair enough. Well, I think too, this one also has like a lot of stories behind it. So just reading over some of the Wikipedia too, in response to what the hell is Dennis Quaid doing in this? Apparently in 2015, he stated that of all his films, he made his most aggressive use of cocaine during this one, and that he was high in every frame in which he appears. And they didn't even attempt to approach Roy Scheider because they knew he wouldn't do it, and he actually agreed to do Blue Thunder to ensure that he would not be available for this movie.
Just for
Smart.
him.
I guess Richard Matheson didn't want to include the Brodies in it in this one, but Universal forced him to. And he also requested to write a role specifically for Mickey Rooney and said that when Mickey Rooney turned out not to be available, the whole part was pointless. I would have
Yeah.
loved to have seen Mickey Rooney in a Jaws film, but even more, I'm not seeing it on Wikipedia, but I believe I don't think it's apocryphal, but there was like a talk of potentially like Joe Dante doing this movie and it being more of a
Oh,
comedy.
that would be awesome.
That would actually probably be good.
And I
I've
think the
heard.
title originally was going to be Jaws 3 People Zero,
I would
which is
watch
Awesome.
that.
amazing. And yeah, I mean that that makes sense with the theme park thing. Like you're talking about exploitation, where it's like
Mhm.
that becomes a meta commentary on the franchise itself, but that's lost in this
Yeah, no,
one.
that's not that. There's no intentional meta commentary at all.
No,
It's
but
The,
I think like if the theme park thing was like the constant throughout all versions of the script, and potentially even if it's true, the comedic version of this, I think
mhm.
that would have worked really, really well
With Joe Dante, yes,
with Joe Dante,
yeah,
or I who knows, maybe like the Zucker brothers and Jim Abrams. It could have been amazing. But
yeah.
they have a Jaws parody at the beginning of Airplane.
yeah, I mean, I would have loved to. I would have loved to. I still would love to see a Jaws comedy or just a shark movie comedy. But
Yeah,
Land Shark the
like,
movie.
but yeah, but like this, like, yeah, like this one is where it becomes like very obvious. Like, you can't really do sequels to these movies because they don't lend themselves to doing sequels because the first one's not formulaic.
mhm.
No.
And so
I
there's
mean,
no point in calling it Jaws. It just could be like it just should be called like, I don't know, Shark Attack or whatever. Like,
or
SeaWorld,
you could still call it
yeah.
Jaws, but I
the
mean, and
SeaWorld killer.
they do follow like bring in some elements or tropes like from the preceding films. But yeah, I agree that the first one there is a formula to it and there is a definite structure to it, but it isn't something that is meant to be replicated. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like I'm always wondering, is this supposed to be all one shark? Or is this like a family of shark of like the same shark where they have a daddy shark and a mommy shark and a baby shark, da. But
So I
uh,
would say no to that, but I also my only reason is that the sharks got blown up a
die
lot.
in every
Yeah.
movie.
It's like having a Friday the 13th movie where Jason dies in every movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which there is
But
a couple where the killer does die with Jason, yeah. Jason dies in one, gets brought back to life in six. Or sorry,
mhm,
gets brought back to life in six, dies in four. His
Yep.
mom is the killer in the first one.
mhm.
Yeah.
But that one definitely has a formula. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, like yeah, like whereas these movies, it's like they're trying to force it. Like they're really
yeah,
forcing this into be a franchise. It doesn't lend itself to a franchise.
yeah. I mean, I feel like,
It more lends itself to just being copied uh
Yeah.
yeah,
by other
yeah,
films, right? Like it
yeah.
doesn't
And
lend
copied
itself to
in way
be
better ways.
There's certainly Jaws without Jaws or as a Jaws with grizzly bear or a
Yeah.
killer whale or something.
Yeah.
well,
They're definitely
Or
not.
piranha,
crocodile
grizzly.
movies. Yeah, like
Yes,
the crocodile movies are way
alligator.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certainly things you can do. Have piranha.
Piranhas are cool for like a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Piranha's good.
Yeah,
Like I really like I think this movie by Alexander Aja, I think is the director. Crawl.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
guys ever seen that?
yeah.
Yeah, with the
Crawl's good.
alligators. Yeah.
Yeah, so to me like Crawl is like the closest like Jaws successor because it's good because the characters are good.
Hmm.
This the
Hmm.
situation's good. Obviously it's a very different film, but like it's something where like they took like a generic idea and made it, like they kind of elevated it. Like that's what
They did it
Spielberg did
well.
with, yeah.
Hmm.
A simple idea done well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I think like Spielberg did with the first one. He took something that could have been really, I'm not even sure what to say, just unremarkable and then made it,
Yeah. I mean, supposedly the novel's not very remarkable, just
It's
popular.
not. Yeah. It's
I've never
not.
read the novel, but I've heard it's just okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, it
mean,
sounds like Nat has read it, but
I think the only thing I really find memorable about this one, besides some wasted opportunities, is how Simon McCorkindale buys it. Where you get a shot from inside the shark as he gets chewed up.
That is true.
yeah.
But otherwise, there's nothing really memorable about it. And I can't believe Richard Matheson had the screenplay.
Well, it's
I
not like he wrote it from scratch. Like it's like he just
yeah.
worked on some version of it.
Yeah, I know. I've heard stories that like Spielberg owed him a favor or had screwed him out of a credit on something, like maybe the Twilight Zone movie or something. So he gave him this as a,
Hmm.
a present or a paycheck.
Hmm. Well, whatever. I like
But
it.
I couldn't tell
It
you
was
Richard Matheson
successful.
was. It was. I mean, it made $88 million. Although I feel like the only 3D movie that anybody remembers from this little era was Friday the 13th 3. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen this in 3D. Don't
I
think it would have
mean,
made it better,
some
but
of the 3D is good. I will definitely agree with that. And Leah Thompson in 3D is good. So it has that going for it. I'm
that's right.
all
Easy there,
yeah.
Robert.
Yeah,
Also,
your mic's on or your camera's on too, Robert. So you can.
okay. Also, I kind of wonder about Bess Armstrong and why she never really made it as a bigger star. I felt like she was
Probably because of this movie.
well, probably
Maybe.
because this and Hilo China were both kind of flops. Well, this one made money, so I'm surprised they didn't say, well, people like Bess Armstrong in this, so I mean, I give her credit for, she is right out there interacting with the dolphin and killer whales. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
I
It's fun. I don't mind it.
I do have a question. How do you play standoff?
I
Because it
know
looks like you just push somebody.
it does. I've never heard of standoff.
I haven't
I've
either.
been in bars in the '80s. I've never seen standoffs.
I thought
I
that
Okay.
was
don't.
like a common a game in America or something you guys play.
Nope.
I don't believe it actually exists. I
I don't
believe it's
like,
just made up for the movie.
yeah, but also it makes no sense. Like, what purpose does it serve in the movie? Like,
It's a meet cute.
is
Guys,
it?
it's
I mean,
it's
what
the
the hell
most
is happening with
American
it
it's the
though?
most American pastime ever.
No,
Is
it's
is is a push off
no,
or
the
whatever it's
most
called.
American pastime ever would be invade, where basically like you just sexually assault the person that you're standing off against as opposed to standing off against them. But I don't understand how standoff is played. Like the people just get in a circle and then they look at each other,
And
somebody makes a
then
move and the other person pushes them.
It's just yeah, it's like it's like who's tougher or whatever. You get to see who's the tougher person that's standing and
that
and that's
doesn't
how
make
you and that's how
it
you
makes
play.
no sense to me.
Well, and what like is it Sean or Michael who's like, well, I'm the standoff king of the East Coast.
It's
Like, what the
Sean.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I thought it was like, oh, this is like something that like Americans do. Like you like, Nat and you guys, Nat and Robert do it all the time or whatever.
And
I
apparently he did it at college when he went in Colorado too. So it's like a national
Yeah, it's
game.
national, so not even a coastal like pastime. No, like we do boring stuff at our bars too. Like we have pub trivia and darts and
Darts and pool, and
yeah.
we
And push off, this famous American game.
Okay. I'm I really want to know the rules of standoff now.
Well, watch the movie again and just
I actually
put it
did
in
rewind
slow-mo.
that a couple times just to figure, okay, what the hell is going on here? Like
I don't even know who Simon McCorkindale is supposed to be is playing in this film.
he's the British guy, right?
Yeah,
Oh, he's cool.
he's a
He's
shark killer or something.
he's the
Yeah.
romantic rival
I
for
mean, I don't see how anybody would say, yeah, well, killing a shark is cool, but there's no reason we should try to take it captive. Even though, SeaWorld is kind of like a zoo. Of
Mhm.
course you want to have an exhibit, a shark exhibit.
That makes sense. And how are we on the whole like dolphins saving people from shark attacks?
That's cool.
Dolphins are smart. It's cool, but dolphins are smarter than that. I mean, do these people really deserve saving, or should the dolphins just sacrifice them to save themselves?
If I were a dolphin, I'd be getting the hell out of there. Like I'm not dying for these schmoes. They
I'm just glad they didn't kill a dolphin. That was what I was worried about.
well, I wouldn't mind seeing
I
Jaws
believe,
chow down on something other than a person.
yeah, I believe, the Dolphins were nominated for 2 Razzies.
Oh. That's
But
rude.
they did win at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Ooh.
No, I made that up.
It's a weird movie. It's like we have cute dolphins in our Jaws movie.
Mhm.
Uh, why? What audience are you appealing to?
I'm also curious, Robert, like getting back to when Jaws smashes the control center glass.
I will say that it did kind of remind me a little bit of The Abyss, funnily enough.
Well, I can see that. But as a man of science,
Mhm.
what
Uh,
would it like? I guess how would the physics of that work? Because the shark pretty much seems like stationary at the time, and so he's
yeah,
just kind of like poking his nose into the
I
glass.
have an even better question. How does the shark back up?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Sharks, they cannot back up. But like, how
Also,
powerful
I
can
want to
that
know
glass
where the
be?
SeaWorld is located.
Well, probably in Florida, but
Yeah, but I understand SeaWorld's in Orlando. Orlando's nowhere near the ocean.
Really?
it's probably in Florida. And well, I guess the one of the original ideas of the script was the shark swimming from the ocean into a lake. Great whites have not been known to do that. Bull sharks have been known to travel up freshwater streams, but
Yeah, they do hand wave it away in the saltwater lagoon, but
that's pretty crappy. But no, I am curious, like if the shark is stationary, no matter how much it weighs, just like poking the glass with its nose, like
yeah,
that's got to be pretty weak glass. And since this
yep.
is meant to like more or less look out
They're
on
like
the
40 feet underwater, so I
yeah,
mean
like
that
there's a little bit of pressure there. So
yeah. Don't ask me.
okay, well,
It makes sense.
I don't think so.
You know,
The
as I
the
said,
glass broke into
SeaWorld's
three
like 100.
distinct parts. That's how glass works.
I will say that Orlando's like 100 miles from the ocean, so that's why I thought to go. I've been to SeaWorld. I was in SeaWorld before it wasn't cool to be at SeaWorld.
Was it ever cool to be in SeaWorld?
It was fine. People didn't know any better in about 1980. I had a good time there, remember? We saw the whale show, and the killer whale didn't kill anybody.
Shamu.
Yeah, Shamu did not kill anybody.
All right. Well, I think that yeah.
We saw the sea lion show, and that was entertaining.
Okay. Do they have a dolphin show?
I don't recall. I
Okay.
but we saw the Shamu, and had a nice time there.
hmm Actually, one other idea I do like from this is the idea of like Jaws killing like poachers or
Yeah, I
like
don't know
Yeah.
what they are.
criminals. Like I like
Yeah,
the idea too of a Jaws film where the shark is a vigilante. So like it's Terminator, where he's the bad guy in the first one, and then he's a good guy in the second one.
he makes a good uh
Shark
account of himself to
vigilante.
cover up his crime by popping the rubber raft for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, he's clever, crafty.
Yeah, that's fun. All right, let's move on to number two.
Actually, just to go back to Jaws 4 for a second, probably should mention that they kill Jaws the same way as they kill Jaws in the Nintendo video game by impaling him with the ship. And then the Michael
Oh, wait,
Caine,
wait, wait, wait. Okay, wait. How did they kill him in this again? I forget.
They
they blow him
they
up with a
have
grenade.
there's a grenade in it. Yeah, Simon McCorkindale, even though it gets eaten up, has like a grenade in his hand.
hmm
Yes, yes. And then they pull it with like
They
a
pull
little
the
metal
pin.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
hmm
yes, I remember now.
Yep.
Not a great death,
No,
No,
actually.
it's not.
No.
little derivative.
Yeah,
Little derivative and a little far-fetched.
hmm
yeah. Okay, now can we move on to number two?
Now we can move on to number two. And we're
Okay.
moving up in the world. I
All
mean,
right.
two is not great, but it's certainly a lot better than three to four. I mean, when a film makes as much money as Jaws made, people are going to look for ways to follow up. However, in the mid 70s, sequels were relatively rare. You know, besides the Universal monster films, I don't know if we have too many sequels other than Jaws 2.
French Connection
I
2.
mean, Godfather 2, French Connection
Superman
2.
2.
Then that
Superman
was later.
2.
That was
That was
after.
later.
Star Wars: The Empire Strikes
Star
Back
Wars
was later.
2.
Was
That was later.
Force 10 from Navarone out around
I
this time?
I guess that would count. So, and that didn't make any money. I mean, James Bond sequels made money.
Mhm.
Oh
Um,
yeah, totally, man.
yeah, but I mean, generally, you didn't have sequels at that time.
The
Yeah,
Sting
your point
2.
makes sense, Robert. Yeah.
Yeah, and Spielberg proposed something along the lines of a USS Indianapolis story, but the dude thought it was too removed. And anyway, Spielberg soon found himself wrapped up in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was working all the way until November 1977.
Nice.
Instead, Jeannot Schwartz, who had a similar experience to Spielberg, including directing episodes of Columbo and Night Gallery, was hired to direct. The Shark returned to Amity. The cast minus Dreyfuss and Shaw were enticed back, and the budget was up to $20 million. So in June 1978, under the tagline, "Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water," Jaws 2 emerged in theaters with a slasher's taste for teenagers this go round. And although it wasn't the spectacular success of the original, it was the number 6 film of the year at the domestic box office, grossing $77 million. Principals included, this will sound familiar, but well, let's go that. We got Jeannot Schwartz as was the director, written by Carl Gottlieb and Howard Sackler. Um, John Williams returned to do the music,
Yeah.
edited by people I
Mhm.
don't recognize. Uh, the cast includes Roy Scheider as Police Chief Martin Brody, Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Murray Hamilton as Mayor Larry Vaughn. Um, let's see, Joseph Mescolo as Len Peterson, the real estate developer. Jeffrey Kramer as Deputy Hendricks. Um, there's a bunch of teenagers I don't recognize that are in this film, along as Keith Gordon, who I do recognize. Um, so let's get started on this. Why don't you give this a go, um, Nat?
Uh, let's see. I've of the sequels, I've seen this one the most. And again, I remember almost nothing about it outside of, hey, Roy Scheider's back and he's spotting sharks everywhere. And oh, the mayor's been reelected. Sean and Michael and Vincent have grown up a little bit, and the shark gets electrocuted. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I remembered going into it. That's pretty much what I remember coming out of it, except I do like some of the kills in this one. I do like the idea of having Jaws chase after water skiers is pretty brilliant, and so much so that they couldn't resist recycling it for Jaws 3.
That's
Uh,
true.
I give him props for that. I like the kill of the one teenager who grabs onto the boat. Um,
Yeah.
and I think this is one of the better looking sharks, or shark models that they have
Hmm.
in all the sequels. So there's not an embarrassment of riches in that. But yeah, I remembered it being a little better than it was on this watch, but I do like that they return to Amity, that they kind of keep it in a more familiar setting, and I like that there's a nice little dynamic among the teenagers within this. I don't think it has as much heart or follows like the characters I want to follow as much, at least in regards to the teenagers, as the first film. But I like that this one feels kind of like most like a sequel, less like a stretch than the others, and I think that they at least provide some reason or uh, some justification for following the Brodies along, and that's probably 90% Roy Scheider. Um, but even though I don't like a lot of the teenager stuff, I like that they kind of went a little bit in that direction,
Hmm.
Yeah,
or went more in that
I think it
direction.
makes sense to go in that direction. There's because if you don't, then you just do the same thing as the first film where it's about the whole town
Hmm.
and their tourist season and the conflict between, mayor and chief of police. Although the same thing kind of repeats itself. It's more like
Yeah.
Hmm.
real estate guys don't want this cop trying to be safe to mess up their deal, yada yada yada. Um, I would say this is like the true like start of the franchise, I would say. Like
I
I
would
think
agree.
yeah, like I think that there is a bit of a formula that it is able to be copied here. Um, like you follow a small group of people who are kind of doing their own thing. Um, it does turn a bit of a, turn something from the beginning of the, or like the first one on its head where you're rooting for Roy Scheider, but he's seeing danger where it isn't, and then so it becomes more about like him being wrong this time for a bit. But it's not that he's wrong, it's just he's so like, has so much PTSD from the first encounter
Hmm.
that he can't trust anything anymore, and he's like always being vigilant, but um I think the set pieces are pretty good in this one. Um, the
Hmm.
sort of like the teenagers getting stranded, the one getting chomped after falling off the tiny boat is good. Um,
Hmm.
the way
The
that the
girl that
shark is
saves Sean
killed,
is good.
yeah, that one's good. The way the shark is killed is pretty good. I would say like the second best ending for the shark.
Hmm.
Um, and then the shark eating the helicopter is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some good parts, and yeah, like Roy Scheider, I don't get the impression that he's phoning it in. I don't know if
I
it's
don't
like
think.
his
Yeah.
it's not his favorite performance or his favorite film, but he seems to be like playing the character really well in this. And
Yeah. I don't know if Roy Scheider ever filmed it, phoned it in.
sorry, yeah. Did I say film it in? I meant
No,
phone it in.
I misspoke, but yes,
Okay.
I feel like
Um,
he's always good. He,
yeah, for
Probably
sure.
better than the material he's given sometimes.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
like the acting in this movie is better than the other two films that we just discussed.
Yeah.
It's closer to the first movie, obviously. It's made closer and it's probably, copying that one or trying to, I guess. Can't really copy it without Spielberg, I don't think.
No, I mean
Doing all of his like
this is
Hitchcock
standard
stuff, but
sequel stuff for many things. This is the first film only. We'll have maybe some bigger set pieces. Well, I
yeah,
don't know if
and
they're
and I
bigger,
do
but
like that this does feel like a summer movie. Like you do get like and that first one
Hmm.
feels like that too. Like you do get this feeling of summer when you watch the film. Like
yep,
being on the beach and
it feels hot.
everyone's on
It's sunny.
vacation.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, overall, best of the sequels by a long shot. But yeah, it still in general seems a little unnecessary. Like I don't think this story and by unnecessary, I mean like the story doesn't need to be told. Like
No,
the character, like his arc was resolved in the first film. And what I find interesting about this is that like Spielberg at this point wasn't Spielberg yet, like as we talk about him, right?
no, he still
He's
had
still creating his,
yeah.
I like what I would call his empire in Hollywood or whatever. Like,
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark was coming up in a couple of years.
yeah, exactly. Which would like to me like
And
cement him
then
as
followed it with
like,
E.T., yeah.
yeah, as be
And
like the king of Hollywood, basically. But here, like, it's not too far-fetched that someone like him would have done the sequel if he was available, right?
yeah,
Um,
if Close Encounters had not been as difficult to put together as it evidently was.
Yeah, like it's not totally far-fetched. Now you might think, oh, he won't do a sequel to something like obviously unless it's Indiana Jones, then he would. But
Yeah,
um, or did he do the second one to Jurassic Park? I thought he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Oh, he
he
did.
did.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Interesting.
I
Okay,
mean,
yes.
he's done stuff that aren't. You go, why are you doing that? but he kicked around the idea for a sequel to E.T.,
Oh, okay.
which was a good the story. Never came together. He didn't follow through, but he did
Hmm.
kick it around, and so he's done some things that aren't necessarily. At least he had his eye on. This could be a big hit for me, rather
Yeah, so
than yeah,
yeah, like obviously I'm glad that he didn't do it. But yeah, I don't think in general it needs to be like it doesn't need to have a sequel. Like the first one does not need a sequel, but this one is okay. I still think it's, average as a
yeah.
film. It's not like going to be on my top 20 list or 40 or 50 of the 70s or whatever, but
No,
um
if it's on, well, if it used to be, if it was on cable, I might watch for 5 minutes of it when it came on, or I was around. So if I turned the channel it was on, I might say I'll watch this scene. But
yeah.
yeah,
Um but it's not bad. Like I would, I'd recommend people watch it if for whatever reason they're big Jaws fans or something or like these kind of movies about
if
like,
you like Roy
animals
Scheider,
attacking.
it's a starring role for Roy Scheider.
Yeah. Um like I'm trying to think like what was he doing at this time? Like the one
That
well, like what's the one? All That Jazz? That was like
that
a
would be
big one, right?
79, I think. So that would
Yeah.
be after this. So
Yeah, like he's always had a pretty stable career in the 70s and 80s, so
yeah, I mean Jaws made his career as a leading man. So no wonder he came back for the second one. I'm sure they got a good paycheck for that, at the very least. And
yeah.
it did cement him as the mind of the audience as a leading man. Um, I guess
So
I'll
would he
go.
not have been like considered a leading man in French Connection or no?
I mean, he was the sidekick to Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I
He was
guess.
the lead in the Seven Ups, which
Okay,
Right,
was
which I
two
haven't
years
seen.
later.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean that wasn't as big a hit as well. French
French
Connection was
Connection.
a big hit, and Jaws was a big hit. But Seven Up
Hmm.
was much lower. I mean, I think it was popular at the
Oh,
time.
another franchise that we missed in the 70s, Exorcist.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Exorcist. Yeah, French
Yeah,
Connection. Three Musketeers, four Musketeers.
true.
But that's about all the sequels I can come up with.
Yeah.
I guess I can go. I think Jaws 2 was the first horror movie I saw in the theater. It's certainly it's the first one I saw by with my brother, but without my parents. Um, a lot of kids went to that opening weekend, and I was one of them, and we had a good time there. It was, teenagers. I can relate to teenagers, and it was kind of a proto slasher at the time because I mean this is before Halloween. Halloween wasn't out till October of that year, so this was June. So it's kind of partly set the template of a slasher film with teenagers getting knocked off. Um, I mean, certainly I hadn't seen Jaws at the time. I didn't know what was missing because Jaws is obviously a much better film. But this is okay then, and it's still okay. Roy Scheider is a compelling lead character in this, and he and Lorraine Gary have good chemistry together. Um, Murray Hamilton doesn't do much in this, but I feel like the weakest part is like nobody believes that Roy Scheider knows what he's talking about because he saved the damn town, what, 3 years prior? I mean, maybe you could make a story about how that only cuts you so much slack, but still, you would think uh, the fact that he is like the person of the year for the town would buy him some rope here, but instead it's like they're looking for an excuse to fire him.
But
Which,
they re-elected Mayor Vaughn. Like they're just
yeah,
idiots.
but Mayor Vaughn actually vouched for him in this. He didn't vote against him, so it's like, who is this town board?
Yeah,
They behave like a plot device instead of like people.
Right, yeah.
But he
Good
seems to be
point.
like a good chief of police, and maybe he's a little hung up, and maybe you suggest he goes on vacation after he fires his gun at a school of fish. I get that. I mean, that's obviously bad.
we've all done that though.
So, I mean, But you're gonna fire him, the hero of the town? That makes no damn sense to me because you know he's a stand-up guy. He's not crooked or corrupt or anything. So, um, yeah, maybe he needs a vacation. Is fair, but other than that, I mean, it feels like Amity. I do like that. Apparently, they've turned some yellow barrels into planters outside their home. So that's kind of a cute touch, but it is like the first movie, only kind of simplified and not as well made, but it's still fairly well made. I mean, the director was Gina Schwartz said would make Somewhere in Time in a couple of years, and that's generally regarded as a very good film. And even some of the stuff he would make in the 80s is still, is at least there's a reason people would hire him. I mean, Supergirl, I guess, wasn't a hit, but I understand that it's some people like it. Never did see Santa Claus the movie, but I agree that the the water skier scene is a good one, although the driver of the boat freaks out and kind of spills gasoline all over herself before
Yeah.
is kind of silly in retrospect. But I like the teenagers. I like the idea that they're going off by themselves without any parental guidance or supervision and getting in trouble with a serial killer shark is well, that formula would work quite well in just a few years, and I think it deserves some credit as being a predecessor for that. It kind
Hmm.
of laid some of the uh, template down, and I kind of feel that the fans of Jaws 2 or the kids that saw Jaws 2 became the kids that would go see the Friday the 13th in a few years too. And probably were just happy with that formula again. So I really don't have much say, unfortunately, because it's a pretty straightforward movie. But I think I would agree that the kill of the shark at the end is good, and I think that Lorraine Gary gets a little bit more to do in this one. I think she's good too, but there's not much to say other than that because it's pretty, the plot is pretty straightforward. The shark's after the kids, Brody's after the shark. Who's gonna catch up with who first?
Yeah, and I
Those are
do think
all good points, Robert.
Yeah.
that this probably provides the best or most plausible reason for people continuing to go out on the water than the other films. Like even
They're
with this
stupid
threat,
teenagers.
they're teenagers and like the boats are essentially cars where you can just escape from the parents and hook up, which
Yep.
is hot. And I can
Horny
see
teenagers make bad decisions.
basically, yeah, hormones trumping sharks. But I'm with you on the gasoline. I don't know. No matter how traumatic an experience would be, don't, listeners, pour gasoline on yourself.
Yep.
Though it is a pretty good explosion. They filmed a good explosion. I'll give them that.
Oh yeah.
And I like the shark chopping down on the electrical cable at the end too.
Hmm.
It's a
Oh
good
yeah.
final kill.
It was awesome. There's like fire coming out of his skull and stuff.
Hmm.
Cool.
And I think they set it up well so it's not so obvious. So they lay the foreshadowing. It's there. But I don't think it's that obvious.
Yeah,
They
I
they lay
was
it quite early in the
yeah.
film. Because
Right, yeah, okay.
so it comes up and go, oh yeah, I remember that, and then boom, good idea. I do like that Chief Brody doesn't really like go mano a mano on it. He just outsmarts it, and I
Mm.
think that's a good character beat for him. He's not a professional shark hunter. He's just a good. He's just a cop who can think
Yeah,
on his
yeah,
feet.
yeah, like he's just really resourceful and tough. Yeah.
And
All
maybe
right,
a little
shall
lucky. Yeah. So I don't have
shall we
anything else to say on Jaws 2, I don't think, but
okay, shall we move to the
let's go
Grand
original
let's
finale.
go to the mothership.
mothership? Yeah.
Yeah. So Jaws began as many other Hollywood hits, a successful book turned into a movie. It's right on the poster. A terrifying motion picture from the terrifying #1 bestseller. A great white shark kills a girl swimming at night and then keeps on killing with only the newcomer police chief of the way to stop it, which ultimately comes down to Chief Martin Brody, marine biologist Matt Hooper, and crusty professional shark hunter Quint alone in a boat against a ferocious shark larger and more cunning than they anticipated. The film was, of course, directed by Steven Spielberg. The screenplay is by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, based on Peter Benchley's novel Jaws, produced by Richard Zanuck and David Brown, cinematography by Bill Butler, edited by Verna Fields, music by John Williams. Um, Grossed like 260 million versus a $9 million budget. Pretty good. The cast includes Roy Scheider as Chief Martin Brody, Robert Shaw as Quint, Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper, Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Mary Hamilton as Mayor Vaughn, Carl Gottlieb does double duty as plays Meadows. Uh, Jeffrey Kramer is Hendrix. Susan Blackley is Chrissy. So, oh, it's also ranked number 104 on the Sight and Sound Greatest Films poll. I believe Nat and I ranked it number 6 on our top 100 movies list when we did that a little while ago. So,
It was not on my list.
with that, so Cody, why don't you take us off here then, since it was not on your list? But
Okay,
I presume you liked it.
it's not on my list because I hate it or anything. It's just
No.
not, not one of my favorites of all time. I haven't seen this for a long time, so glad to rewatch it. Probably only saw it, I don't know, maybe more than almost 15 years ago, I would say.
Mhm.
But I had grown up watching this on TV, so I think that kind of sucks because you grow up watching it, like in chunks or whatever.
Yeah,
And
and probably in the days when the picture quality wasn't as good as it is now.
yeah, for sure. So like, when watching it for the first time, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, this is actually more than just like a, you know, shark attack movie. Has these three good characters. The latter half is really cool where they go out on the sea together and have some nice conversations. Um, this time though, I kind of noticed like how much, yeah, just like the filmmaking was really top notch, especially the cinematography. Um, there just seems to be like he seems to be really has learned a lot from watching Hitchcock
Hmm.
or filmmakers like that. Like it's like a very sort of update of classical filmmaking, but not in just like a sort of like a rip-off way, I guess. Like, and I'm not just talking about the famous, you know, Zolly, like the Doom or the dolly
Dolly
backwards,
Zoom,
zoom
yeah.
forwards. Yeah, but I just mean like in general, like just the way what Hitchcock would film scenes and create tension. Like he's doing the exact same thing, and it feels authentic. Like it's not
Yeah,
manufactured, like in some other
yeah,
directors who are influenced by Hitchcock.
yeah.
Um,
Those invisible wipes as people walk across the screen, and then it just kind of pushes in closer with each time somebody walks in front. It just works really well with creating tension
yeah,
and bring you in.
and then the whole, I guess, setting of the town is really great. How you just like you do get a really good feel for the setting. I don't think a lot of films do this that well, like where you get just like a really tangible feeling of this place
Hmm.
and it feels real and authentic.
I
Um,
I love the little thing about the Polly complaining or
Karate chopping the
karate chopping the
fences.
picket fences. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, like I said before, like yeah, these films, especially the first two, they just feel like summer. Like you just get the sort of atmosphere and tone of summer. And yeah, I just think like it's a really good movie. Like, yeah, it's not one of my favorites of all time, but I can't really find any flaws in it, to be honest. I guess like tiny flaw would just be like when you do see the shark a few times, especially near the end when it's kind of like chomping on the boat, it does look not the best, but
It looks like a
it's
mechanical
still
shark.
it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. I think
Yeah,
it's cool when it eats what's the guy's name? Quint?
yeah.
Yeah, like when it eats him and I like how it like bashes through the cage when Richard Dreyfuss is in the little cage. And then probably like eat by by far the best ending of all four films, like where he shoots the
Hmm.
tank in its mouth and yeah, it's just great. Um I do feel like they kind of blow past a bit Quint dying. I think they're a little too happy at the end.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
should be kind of more bummed out. Uh,
They do take
but
a beat. I will give them that.
they take a beat, but they seem a little
Yeah.
kind of okay. Let's paddle back, or I don't
Yeah.
know. It's that kind of came off a bit odd this time. Uh,
I do like how you have to watch all through the credits for them to reach the beach though.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's great. I don't think it's something where you they should have made sequels, to be honest. So I think that's kind of a bummer. Like it doesn't diminish the film for me, but it's something, much in the same way that 2010 to me doesn't take away 2001. But even that one
No.
makes more sense to have sequels because they're taken from a book series. Um,
Hmm.
although I wish they would have kept going with the films. But um, yeah, so I think yeah, it's obviously great. It's obviously like one of the best American movies ever made, I would say. It's pretty fun to watch. Like I would probably be okay with rewatching it in like a year even and with someone who hasn't seen it before. Whereas the other ones, they're kind of one and done for me. Don't need to see them again. So yeah, I'm assuming you guys have a lot to say since you both really like the films, both on your top 50 lists.
Yeah, yeah. Any excuse is a good excuse to rewatch it, as far as I'm concerned. And it's I'm hoping to go to the theater at the end of the month to see the film when it's re-released, and I think that'll be a grand old time if there's a good crowd. Um, I like it just because I feel like, you know, unlike a lot of the films that came after, and especially nowadays, the cast and the characters just seem like normal people, not like super spies or um superheroes even. It's just normal people that are in over their head dealing with something extraordinary going on and something dangerous. And I feel that's part of the appeal of Jaws. Um, and I feel like some of the things I really feel like the pandemic kind of brought some of the ideas into mind here of like, the beaches would remain open for a lot of people these days without definite proof or even with some definite proof like I'd probably go away. No reason that the shark will stick around. Yeah, it may have got one person, but it's done and we're not going to shut down the town just because of that. That seems like a very uh pandemic response. Which kind of brings it up is like I feel like there's a lot going on here, like with Roy Scheider kind of starts asking, well, who's going to take responsibility here? Are you? And when somebody says yes, he willing to hand off uh, responsibility, and then it kind of ends up slapping him in the face with the Kittner kid. And at the end, it's just him and the shark, and the water closing in, and he better make that shot because there's nobody else to bail him out. So I feel that all really works without being a heavy-handed moral of the story. It's just uh, uh, just kind of theme that's going on that is laid in its real subtext, not text. So I really love the film. And I could go on and on about all the great shots. Um, Heck, even the barrels are just memorable in themselves, and they feel like characters. And it's like they're going fast and they're going right at you, and there's nothing you can do. But the shark can make it go disappear. So that's my thoughts. How about you, Nat?
Yeah, I love Jaws. This time I actually got to watch it with my daughter, who is 7. She really wanted to see Jaws, and so I was like, okay. And my my wife was commenting like it was a day where she took my son out to see a friend of his play a baseball game that was eventually rained out, and my son was freaking out like, "Oh, we don't want to get struck by lightning. Like, there's thunder. I see that." And he's a brave kid, but he was getting a little unsettled by this. And then she gets home and she sees me and my daughter just like sitting back on the couch, like eating popcorn, watching Jaws. She's like, "Yeah, these are two wildly wildly different things." But no, it's great to me, and I think yeah, I mean, so much has been said about it. I think it's fairly accurate. Less is more in terms of the shark. I think too, the other thing is that I love Roy Scheider, and my mom's favorite movie is The Seven Ups, but she's always been like a huge Roy Scheider fan, and he just brings such a great everyman quality to it. And maybe that is one thing that the sequels, or another thing that the sequels kind of get wrong, is that like I don't think of Roy Scheider as like a beautiful person. I don't think of any of the characters in this like as beautiful people. And again, I think that goes really, really far in establishing the realism and kind of the natural quality of Amity. And Amity itself, I think just that location, they're on shooting around Martha's Vineyard. I think Spielberg really makes great use of that. It does look like a fairly rundown, somewhat fishing town, but also I can see it relying heavily on tourism. Um, it's also a great time to watch it because you're just as you're far enough removed from it that you can still kind of enjoy some of the non-homogeneous charm of a location like this, but also it's contemporary enough that it doesn't look extraordinarily dated. Um, and I think it handles the characters really, really well. And that's another thing the sequels I think don't really do, because you got to have the guy who's going to be the hero. You have Mayor Vaughn, so that provides a reason to keep things going. You have Hooper come in to tell you kind of set the stakes up and make you understand what the danger of this animal is. If it didn't get through in the first couple minutes of the movie, and then you just kind of have sort of a secondary antagonist in Quint, who is just out of his mind, and the casting's pretty perfect all across the board um, for those. And yeah, I mean it's a fantastic movie. Just the images of it are so striking. One of my favorite sequences is just the two guys whose faces you never see, who use the pot roast to fish for it, and the shark, like yeah, Jaws just biting down the pot roast, pulling the dock away, the one guy getting caught on it, and then you see like the dock turning around. Just things like that where it's a great set piece. It's just a really clever use of the imagery that's available, and it's so simple. Like you're just doing this with water, a dock, and two guys. But it's incredibly effective, and it's just kind of fun too to talk about. What are some of your favorite shots in Jaws, or what is the most chilling shot in Jaws? And I like the dock one. For me, the most chilling one is like the side view of Jaws biting the guy who's in the canoe in the canal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just like seeing it with the overhead shot and Jaws coming up, I think the shark actually looks the most realistic in all the films, in that shot. But no, it's great, and there's so much icing on the cake, within already a delicious cake. And of course, we haven't even talked about the Indianapolis speech, either. But something like that, just such a heavy reliance on the characters, I think just does so well for this that it overcomes any of the technical limitations of the movie.
Yeah, well, the limitations I think turn into opportunities to be imaginative, and I think
Hmm.
that goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's the casting. It's just like across the board, it really worked. Everybody brings it authentic. Larry and Gary and Roy Scheider have great chemistry together.
Hmm.
Um, heck, Dreyfuss and Scheider have chemistry together, and I like kind of the rivalry between Dreyfuss and Quint, like who really knows more about what they're talking about.
Hmm. And just like how they talk too. Like
Hmm.
you can quote this movie. Like one of my best and oldest friends and I, we still just like talking in quotes from Hooper and just kind of how much of a smartass he is and how fucking insane Quint is as well. And just we'll say to each other once in a while like don't drink that, but just little throwaway lines.
You're gonna
Um,
let that breathe, right?
yeah, exactly. And or I could do whatever I want. I'm the chief of police. But I mean, this is something where you can quote a line from this movie, and even if you've seen it maybe one or two times, if it's not that big of a movie to you, you still should be able to like nail down who's the character who said that. And I think that goes a long way.
Hmm. Heck, I think Larry and Gary, you want to get drunk and fool around is still a good line.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
They have two kids for a reason.
Hmm. Or even just like a what? Like just the townspeople in this too are so great. Or the gal at the town meeting. I don't think that's funny at all. Like things like that. And I think that's another thing too is Spielberg's really good at just directing crowds and just making everyday people come across as being everyday people. Like and maybe I mean that's something I guess Altman had already pioneered pretty well
Yeah.
is just that overlapping dialogue. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
definitely feel there's an Altman influence, at least on the early Amity
yeah,
scenes.
yeah, same here. Well, even the karate chopping thing seems like a like kind of an Altman little touch of humor
Yeah,
there.
kind of a side comment that's nothing to do with the plot, but
Hmm.
feels like something they'd have to deal with. Yeah, I mean, all of that. I mean, Murray Hamilton's jackets.
Oh my God, that anchor jacket! How many people have looked for that their entire life to buy one like that? It's fantastic. And does that make a reappearance in Jaws too?
I don't think it does, but
Like you don't throw something like that out.
it's one of those things that says a lot about the character and it's damn funny just by itself.
Hmm.
But yes, I could see somebody like that wearing it.
Yeah. Oh, especially if
Yes,
he's being interviewed too.
it's stick.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's stick. He's a salesman,
Hmm.
but he doesn't care if he looks silly. He probably knows it looks silly, but he can wear it anyhow.
Yeah. No, and even things like where I think it's Sean when he's in the hospital and he's asking for like coffee ice cream, such a 70s thing. And it's like, get your cars or can you get my cars? She's like, oh, your cars. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many little bits in this movie. And I think that's one of the things I really like about Spielberg, but just so many little bits that are just so innocuous, but just
Mhm.
ground so much of the film.
It's the humor feels like there to make you feel that these are realistic people that because there's humor in the real world too.
Hmm.
They're not necessarily self-aware, but they are uh, reacting like people to it. And humor is one of the things you react with.
Yeah.
And
And
and then you have the big curveball that's the USS Indianapolis speech, just when they're getting to know each other and get having fun, and then you throw something dead serious as that in there.
yeah. And I mean for good or bad, Jaws inventing, I guess, the blockbuster, I feel the real strength of it though is just it has a great pace, but it also knows when not to be in a hurry to get
Hmm.
anywhere. And that seems to be like a hallmark of blockbusters is just let's get through the next plot point. We have such limited time, we have to rush through so much of this stuff. And I think this just lets so much breathe. And again, is better for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I feel like Spielberg. I mean, I know they kind of threw it together, and I know Spielberg said he'd never go into making a film without a finished script like he did Jaws again. But you really can't tell it in the final that in the final edit.
Mhm.
It all looks like it's a masterpiece from beginning to end, or at least an accomplished work from beginning to end. And I don't think there's a bad scene in it. I don't know if that's the editor or just Spielberg's skill. I mean, obviously it's Spielberg's skill when you see like a shot of uh seeing the barrels in the reflection of the window and seeing Roy Scheider at the same time following him. That's like one of those shots that goes, what kind of person comes up with a shot like that? I mean, Spielberg is the answer, but I mean, how many films like that we go? And there's humor. I think one of the humors I would say is like Roy Scheider refusing to go out on the end of the boat to give scale to Hooper's picture, saying, "No, I'm not doing that," which is both a very natural and a very funny thing to say.
Oh yeah. And just like, how they have to navigate the orca and,
Hmm.
jump down, crawl across or crawl around the side. And, there's like a little slip there and
Yes.
you get a nice gasp from that.
I mean, heck, even the way how quickly the orca sinks, and you think he's up in a high spot, but it becomes a low spot very quickly.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's so well staged and paced, and the orca feels like a character in and of itself. It's I mean it's old beat up, and Quint's probably not the best maintenance person ever.
I know. But
Certainly not the neatest either, judging by his closets.
and I love his lodging too. I don't know if that's just basically like where he lives, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming it is because he has a still set up there. Yeah, I that's something where it's like I want to seek out. I think they took down all of the Jaws rides from Universal Studios, or maybe like one
Mm.
in, I don't know, Tokyo or whatever. But um, if that were a part of that ride, that'd be worth making the trip just to see the recreation of Quint's
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I guess the original Orca was at Universal Studios in California for a long time, but it's gotten torn down, unfortunately, by some idiot. But
Yeah.
I understand that Martha's Vineyard is still quite much the same because they have all the codes in place that they really can't update anything.
Hmm.
That sounds like a lovely place to visit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I should have a whole ton more to say. I mean, but what's there to say about, well, perfection except for it's perfect?
Yeah. It's just it's maybe underplaying that it more or less spawned like an entire genre of films.
Oh yes.
I mean, not just an entire genre of films, but if you're going to say like with the blockbuster too, I mean, basically like the formula that would more or less drive movies for the next 40, 45 years or so, or
Well, I
potentially
would say
like
next
50.
50, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think of things as like kind of being more streaming focused now, but
Hmm.
obviously summer is still a huge time for movies.
Hmm.
Um,
Though I will agree that, it's uh something like, say, the comic book superhero blockbuster is a lot different than Jaws.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And though I do think Jaws is alive and well in Jurassic Park.
Hmm.
Not least because Spielberg directed it, but also because it generally does not feature, super soldiers battling uh dinosaurs with guns. I mean, there's some of that in there, I guess, especially in the latest one, but guns are usually not a big part of that. It's using your wits to survive.
Hmm.
It's hard to come from as high a height as it is to Yeah, I agree. 3 and 4 are not good, and it would get bad quickly. So this is really it kind of proof that not everything should be a franchise.
Oh yeah. But again, I think for the most part it can be tough to make a bad shark movie. They certainly exist and we've covered two of them. But I would say like if for nothing else, Jaws, a lot of the movies that are at least using Jaws as a springboard for that, or just like
Mhm.
keeping things to the shark genre, like I think it set up a lot of tropes or at least kind of the playbook for how to make that kind of movie. And I still find a lot of shark movies entertaining.
Yeah,
Um, years and
and
years removed.
there's a lot of things that Jaws can teach you on how to do right.
Hmm.
Like every shot doesn't need to be a money shot. It's okay not to show the monster all the time.
Hmm.
Maybe spend some less time on CGI and more time on like, some barrels that are going across the ocean will give you some more bang for your buck.
Or just like rundown crap can be just as captivating.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, make us care about the characters
Hmm.
and what they're going through. And I mean, you could just focus on them and have good cinematography and they'll get you a long ways.
Hmm. And I don't know. For last words, anything we want to just call out for the score or the
Oh,
main theme?
I mean, I feel like we haven't talked enough about John Williams. I mean, the theme is instantly memorable.
Hmm.
It's very simple, but simple does not mean bad. And John Williams has a number of nice touches with it. When it becomes an adventure film, it becomes an adventure score, and
Hmm.
he's able to turn it on and off at will too. And the score is the character of Jaws, as far as I'm concerned. When
Hmm.
the score is working, if you can't, even though you can't see it, and that's part of the point, you can't see it because it's under the water. You hear it. The character is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Great.
threat is there. The danger is there. The threat level is established immediately.
Hmm. And just
And
like that kind of like underlying menace of everything where,
yeah,
yeah, like there's not really a crescendo or an attack theme. It's just yeah, that constant moving, um, and the
hmm
constant suggestion of it. But you don't have like a huge horn blast or a cannon or anything
nope.
when Jaws attacks.
Oh, I will say that I think when when Brody's chumming the water and the shark pops up, one of the best jump scares ever.
Yep. And I think that line is ad-lib, the bigger boat.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hmm.
That's a great punctuation, but it's not um like he's right behind me, isn't he? A hacky joke. It's a good joke,
Hmm.
and it expresses it's a real concern. It's like this boat is not big enough, is it?
Yeah. And he's right.
It's right. That boat ends up getting destroyed. I also like the ash that's hanging on the end of the cigarette. I don't feel like actors these days can do cigarette acting like they used to.
No. And Scheider probably like went through an entire pack for just that scene, maybe intentionally roughed up some. And like that's just like straight smoking, just taking inhaling, not ashing at all.
Yeah.
It's such a great touch.
You also know Robert Shaw drank all those beers.
And more.
Yes. I do like the little plastic cup, and he crushes the tin can, and then uh, Hooper crushes the styrofoam cup.
Hmm.
Great little bit.
Oh yeah.
There, you're soft, and yeah, It just gets under Dreyfus's skin all the time,
Mhm.
and you can see it.
Which I guess was like a real thing that
Yeah, they didn't get along
Shaw
at all.
hated.
Which, you know what? It it
It's
it
better for it.
it makes it better. Yeah. So I don't know. What more I have to add is that it's a great film. You should watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
It makes I really blame the sequels for the blockbuster state or the summer movie season, or at least the excesses of it, more than I do the original because the original is great.
I would agree.
Okay. I mean, that should wrap up this episode. If our listeners have questions or comments, you can email us at guyspodcast@gmail.com or leave us a note on Facebook. Also, feel free to share a link on social media. Thanks for listening, and we hope you join us later this month for Danny Boyle's Sunshine. Bye.
Take care.
Once on a time, it's a very long time. It's a year or it may be three. I was out of a job and I didn't have a bob when an old tar said to me, would you like to come and have some fun while you're young and stout and strong? So the very next day we sailed away to this dear old shanty song. There is somebody waiting for me in an old cabin down by the sea, in the land where I wish I could be. There is somebody waiting for me. There is somebody waiting for me in an old cabin down by the sea, in the land where I wish I could be. There is somebody waiting for me. I know a face, it's a very sweet face, it's the face of my very best girl. I have seen all sorts in the different ports as I've sailed all round the world. On my last trip east, I'd a rare old feast, I've the taste still on my tongue. But when I sailed west to my very, very best, little girl again I sung. There is somebody waiting for me in an old cabin down by the sea, with a smile and a wee cup of tea. There is somebody waiting for me. There is somebody waiting for me, with a smile and a wee cup of tea, in the land where I wish I could be. There is somebody waiting for
Watch the skies, everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.